About a month ago, I got my unboxing and first look at the brand new Acer Swift Edge, a competitor to the LG Gram 16 that I looked at about a couple of months ago. And what makes this unique is the fact that this brings a UHD OLED display, actually a UHD plus OLED display, something the LG Gram doesn't offer. And one of the other things that this takes the title as, being the world's lightest 16-inch laptop. We're going to find out if it's worth your money. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Acer Swift Edge, all new for 2022. Coming up.
Now, before we get to the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Acer, I'm not being sponsored by Acer. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Acer is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. And this unit is on loan from Acer, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Pricing for the Acer Swift Edge is $1499.99. For those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. Now, I already did an unboxing and first look review video. For those that didn't see it, I'll drop a link in the description below. I highly encourage you to check it out. Now, right off the bat, the build quality is really good on this, and what's pretty unique about this is the fact the chassis is made of a magnesium aluminum alloy that's 20% lighter and twice as strong as aluminum alone. So this has been pretty good in terms of durability in the month or so that I've been using it, and it's been really good. And it also has the distinction of being the lightest 16-inch laptop out there, coming in at 1.17 kilograms or just 2.58 pounds. This is insanely light, really thin, and really easy to take with you on the go. So you're not losing on screen real estate with that nice spacious 16-inch 4K plus display. We'll get into in a little bit, but it's also very portable. You gotta love that killer combination. And as far as the finish, you will notice a little bit of fingerprints on it, so you will be wiping it down after some use. And as far as the color is concerned, it's pretty unique. Acer calls it olivine black. It's an olive green / blackish type color, and it looks pretty sleek and modern. I like the way this looks. Okay, let's check out the port selection. Let's start off on the left side. We get two USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 ports that are full function, supporting data, charge, and display out. Now, one thing to note about these ports, they're not Thunderbolt 4 ports, and they're not USB 4, which would have given you a lot of that same functionality that you'd get with a Thunderbolt 4 port. Remember, this is running an AMD processor, no support for Thunderbolt. Next to that is a USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 port, and next to that is an HDMI 2.1 port to round out the ports on the left side. And moving over to the right side is your 3.5mm microphone headphone combo jack, another USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 port, and then finally your Noble Lock port to round out the ports on this laptop. And I would say all in all, a pretty good port selection. But one notable port missing, no SD card reader. Now, I already went inside and I already opened up this laptop in my unboxing and first look review. So if you didn't see it, again, link in the description below. It's actually pretty easy. Now, once inside, you'll notice that there's a single fan for cooling. You'll notice the battery. We'll get into the thermals and battery life a little bit later in this review. But as far as what's user upgradable, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, not user upgradable by the user. So just keep that in mind. But it is running LPDDR5 RAM, which is faster here in 2022. Now, this review unit has 16 gigabytes of that LPDDR5 RAM, and it is running in dual channel mode. Now, one thing to note is this can be configured with up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, which of course is a great option for those that need it. Now, as far as the SSD, this is using PCIe Gen 4 SSD storage, and that is user upgradable by the user. And judging by these reads and writes, as you see here, these are pretty good results. Definitely fast enough for whatever you need to do on this laptop. Good in that regard. And this also has Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2. Now, that combo card is slotted into the unit here, which is upgradable if you need to change it out later on. That's pretty good. And I've had no issues with either the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth, both working very well. Okay, let's talk about the display, and I think this has got to be the star of the show here, or other than the weight, of course, and that's because it has a 16-inch OLED display with a UHD plus resolution of 3840 by 2400, and yes, that is a 16:10 aspect ratio, so you're getting a nice spacious 16-inch OLED display, and with that OLED display, of course, you get the really deep blacks, the super vibrant colors, the really high contrast, and you're getting excellent color accuracy with a 0.69 delta E score and phenomenal coverage of the color gamut, as you see here. So if you're a content creator that does Lightroom, Photoshop, video editing, color grading, this is an excellent panel to choose, especially if you want something thin and light, but with a spacious 16-inch display, this will get the job done. And it's a bright display. I measured 410 nits. That's a little bit above the claimed 400 nits. And it's an HDR true black display. So watching high dynamic range content on Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and the like has been excellent on this laptop. Now, a couple of things to note. There's no option for touch. This is a non-touch display. It's a glossy display, so you will notice some glare and reflections depending on your lighting conditions. And there's no option for higher refresh rate. You get 60 hertz here, no option for 120 hertz or even 90 hertz, not here on this laptop. Not a big deal for me, but just something to bear in mind. And those sensitive to PWM or screen flickering, I noticed it below 50% screen brightness, so you might want to be careful of that if you are sensitive to that. And my overall takeaway is this is an excellent panel, really good job here, pretty amazing in such a thin and light laptop to have such a nice, vibrant 4K plus OLED display.
So what do you think about the new camera here on this Acer Swift Edge, brand new here for 2022? It's a full HD camera, 1080p video. What do you think about it for your work from home needs, your hybrid work needs, as we progress to that? And as far as video quality and audio quality from these array mics, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. This is not an IR camera, so you cannot log in with face recognition, but there is a fingerprint scanner that allows you to log in with Windows Hello, for those wondering. So that's been pretty good, but I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about this camera? I am curious to know.
Okay, let's talk performance, and this is running the AMD Ryzen 7 6800U processor. That's an 8-core processor with 16 threads. We've seen it before, and as you can see, the single-core, multi-core performance actually pretty good. It's going to be great for everyday use, doing Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, 1080p video editing, even some light 4K video editing is possible. This has the integrated Radeon graphics, and I thought they were actually pretty good. Now, this is certainly not a gaming laptop, but you can definitely play some, get some playable frame rates, I should say, on some of the more popular titles if you lower some of the settings, but don't expect to play AAA titles on their highest settings. It's just not designed to do that, but an occasional game here and there, you could probably do it. And when I ran the Cinebench R23, which will count for any thermal throttling, it did really well on both the single and multi-core scores, as you can see here. So definitely a very usable laptop when it comes to performance here in 2022. I had no hesitation recommending this to get work done. Now, its chief competitor is pretty obvious. It's the LG Gram 16, and I reviewed it a few months back. That is running the Intel Core i7 1260p that has 12 cores versus the Acer Swift Edge, which here is running the AMD Ryzen 7 6800U that has 8 cores. As you can see, the Swift Edge outperformed the Gram 16, and that's pretty impressive here, especially with the integrated Radeon graphics, which outperformed the integrated Iris Xe graphics on the LG Gram 16. These results are very interesting. And when I compared these two when running the Cinebench R23 in both the single core and multi-core scores, they were pretty much neck and neck in terms of the results. So very equivalent performance, but when you look at some of the other benchmarks, again, the Acer Swift Edge outperformed the LG Gram 16. Now, one thing you'll notice is the fan noise in the performance mode, but in the optimized or the power efficiency mode, you won't notice it, and it never gets above 44, 45 decibels. And when it comes to surface temperatures under heavy load, remain relatively cool. A couple of hot spots, one being below the display above the keyboard and one on the underside as you see here, but overall, relatively cool, never too hot to the touch. Okay, let's talk about battery life. A nice, pleasant surprise, because going into this, I wasn't expecting great battery life since this has a 16-inch OLED display. So traditionally, OLED displays don't do great in battery life. And this has a 3-cell 54 watt-hour battery, and it did 10 hours and 18 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits, which in real-world mixed usage, you can expect anywhere from 6 to 7 hours, maybe even more. It just depends on what you're doing. Remember, everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. So pretty good when it comes to battery life, a nice pleasant surprise. And considering this is a 54 watt-hour battery versus the LG Gram 16, which has a larger 80 watt-hour battery, that's pretty impressive. Now, if you do need to plug in, the supplied 65 watt USB-C power charger takes about 90 minutes or so to give you a full charge. That's not too bad. And for those wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger. Now, as far as the keyboard itself is concerned, I would say it's okay. It's a little bit on the shallow side, which is to be expected on such a thin and light laptop. And it also had pretty decent tactility. It was comfortable to type on for extended periods of time. And it also has a multi-stage backlight, and that allows you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. Thought the backlight was okay as well. Now, as far as the touchpad, it's a pretty spacious touchpad, and it was pretty responsive when it comes to scrolling, and all the gestures, they all worked as expected. So overall, good job on that front. Now, when it comes to the audio, according to Acer, this has DTS audio featuring optimized bass response and micro speaker distortion prevention. It has 2 built-in front-facing stereo speakers. Well, I'm looking at this and they look like they're bottom firing to me. And as far as the sound itself, I would say so-so. Not great overall volume. Could use a little bit more bass, a little bit better mids. I would say a little bit tinny. So again, they could have done a better job on the speakers. I would say so-so at best. Okay, people, let's bring it on home. What do I think about the Acer Swift Edge, brand new for 2022? And I gotta say, this is finally a nice competitor here to the LG Gram 16 in this really thin and light 16-inch category. Not too many in this category, and now this has the distinction of being the world's lightest 16-inch laptop, taking the throne from the LG Gram 16. And they're one-upping the LG Gram 16 in terms of the display, offering a vibrant, stunning, bright 4K plus OLED display, something you don't get on the LG Gram 16, so that's been pretty good. Throw in a little bit more durable chassis than the LG Gram 16, a good port selection, pretty good battery life, really surprising in that regard, LPDDR5 RAM, PCIe Gen 4 SSD storage, Full HD 1080p webcam, and you have a real winner on your hands. Now, the negatives, of course, so-so audio, soldered RAM, fingerprint magnet with that olivine black color, which I actually like. I think it's a really nice color, just shows a lot of fingerprints. You will be wiping it down quite a bit. But I think Acer did a really good job on this first outing on the Acer Swift Edge, and I can't wait to see what the next version has to offer. Hopefully a little bit better audio, but I think they hit a home run right off the bat. I think this is the best 16-inch ultra-portable laptop you can get right now, beating out the LG Gram 16.
So what do you think about the Acer Swift Edge? Really, really like what they bring here. The only negative I see is the audio. It could be a little bit more full. It's a little bit tinny, and I'd like to have a little bit more volume to it. But other than that, it pretty much goes toe-to-toe with the LG Gram 16. In fact, it does even a little bit better in terms of performance. In fact, it does pretty good in terms of the battery life. A big surprise considering this does have a very high-res OLED display, UHD+. And where I think this really takes the cake is not only having that UHD Plus display, but it also comes in slightly lighter than the LG Gram 16, making this the king of the ultra portable 16-inch laptops here for 2022. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in that comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.